What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? I pray everybody's having a good Sunday. You guys, I'm out and about. I'm trying to do this production on the road. So today, I have a special guest. Know y'all, know y'all miss her. Haven't talked with her in a while. But what I'm going to be doing, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing a review on a class that we took today, this morning. Yeah, this morning. I don't know. Should we give credit? Yeah, I'm gonna give credit. This is a lesson that was taught by Dr. Kathy, and it touched me so much. I just wanted to come and talk about it a little bit. We just can just barely touch the surface a little bit on a couple of the topics that we talked about. So bang, bang, we are talking about conversation, the different types of conversations. But the class was pertaining to marriages, but I was seeing different types of relationship with people everywhere, all different types of relationships. I even saw issues that I done have been doing over the years. So let's just go get into it. We just talk about these different tips. It's basically five pillars. You would you say? What do you call it? Pillars, or five pillars, or five forms of communications. All right. So I'm gonna just set the camera here. I'll swing it, ring it, ring it, ring it, ring it, ring it. You in there? You in there? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the pillars. You got the pillars? Well, you want me to read them? But yeah, just read them and then we go back. You see, a lot of even me, I didn't even know it was that many different types of conversation, but every single one made sense. I'm just sitting there like, wow, wow, I wish I would have known or thought about that. Wish so. Let's just go with the first one. The first one, transactional or conversation. So that's the type of conversation that everybody have every day, all out and about doing your life is transactional, but you also have those conversations in your home. So I'm gonna be going back and forth talking about marriages and how you deal with people out in the world, as outside your marriage. So you have this type of transactional conversations with people everywhere, and then you have them with your spouse, and sometimes they kind of blend together. You end up maybe talking to your spouse in those transactional conversations, and you end up building a whole relationship, or not say build a relationship, but you start running the relationship off those transactional conversations. You got something you want to add to that one? The transactional ones seem like you, yeah, they become um, routine, and as long as the routine is kept going and look like there's no problems with the routine, let's just keep moving forward. And I think I've seen, well, probably a lot of us might have seen, where people get ready to get a divorce, and one or the other, most of the time, is the man. I was like, I've seen nothing. I didn't know we had problems. I didn't know we had issues. He would say that because the transitional conversations were fine. All the day to day, everything were fine. So that's far as, I guess, far as he could see it. As long as the transitional, and make sure we didn't get to next step two we're going to talk about, everything's cool. We're trying to make sure there's no fires, make sure there's no arguments, make sure everything's good. The transactional is going good, relationship is good. But a lot of times the woman has done went all these other steps and mad at him because he didn't complete those other four. but he think everything's good because everything's good on number one. Yeah. So okay. So in tense conversations, um, yeah, there's a huh. So you got something to add to that before I go some? Yeah, it's tense, and again, a lot of people want to stay away from that zone. Um, is there's real questions and there should be real answers. Um, the feelings, like share what's going on. That's where the problem solving is supposed to be. And I think a lot of like I said, I don't like to say all, it's not all men, all women, but there's a lot of relationships that's where they get stuck at. And from a man's point of view, um, I see that's where I even just say from me, that's where I try to turn around and run from that and get back to the transactional. And I think one of the reasons why I believe me and I think a lot of other men, they try to stay away from this this tense conversation because it's done wrong. It's um, a lot of men feel that women can cut them up, slice them up, chop them up into different pieces in this area here because it's a battle. That's the battles. Some look at that as the battle zone, and men feel like we cannot win verbally in these situations. So what happens? They feel like I say in general, men feel like that's the area where we're gonna get cut up. That's the where we're gonna get sliced up. We're gonna get put down or saying you ain't nothing, and you're getting sliced and stuff. So the only way to battle is every once in a while you try to get a jab in here or strike back a little bit, but it depends on your woman. If she's good with her tongue, good with slashing you up, we need to stay away from that area. And a lot of times, physical men like, okay, I know she's gonna get me with a tongue, so my only defense is to get her with my fist. So that's where abuse come in. So he don't know how to handle the situation with his mouth. So okay, my strong area is not my tongue, so my strong area is my fist, and it leads to violence and stuff. And a lot of men like, I don't want to go there because I don't, they don't know how to handle the situation. So they either avoid it or it turns to abuse. Right. And but like my what's it epiphany in the class today was even something that I made a video. I made a video about if it's your goal to win in an argument, especially like in a marriage, if it's your goal to win, you already lost. And something that was in the class, it was like, yeah, it pretty much the same answer. If it's your goal to win, and seem like that's what a lot of relationships are. Like, it's my goal. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna. Um, uh, it kind of like goes back to that happy wife, happy life. So, happy wife, happy life means she's gonna win every conversation. So, men try to avoid that. But if the goal is to come up with a resolution, a solution, instead of a winner. So that's what hit me. Like, okay, instead of we shouldn't be looking for a winner, and so men try to escape and get away because you already feel like if it's going to be a verbal tug of war, if it's going to be a verbal going back and forth, the woman's going to win. So to keep peace, let's get out of this. Let's avoid this at all costs. But if the couple decides we're not trying, the goal is not trying to find a winner, a particular person is not a winner, a common agreement, and that's when the relationships win. So a relationship, when the Bible tells us we're supposed to become one, so the relationship is the one. not the wife won or the husband won, and then that person can walk around gloating that they won the conversation. And then vice versa, the men should not avoid the conversation because here come another battle, and she don't won all these other ones, and here we go again. And it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that way. It should be coming up with a solution, and the relationship won. So in that's even in life. That's beyond a marriage. And I think men should take heed and looking at, hey, the solution should be the answer. We should be looking for a solution, not he won and she won. Same, uh, yeah. There's some people still say compromise, but it's still like, yeah, deep down somebody won. But if you take off the table who won, somebody won. That's gone. Like, if we can delete or erase this person won or that person won, no. If the relationships won, that's what we should be, aiming for. Um, looking for a problem, solving problems. No winner, no particular winner, but the actual relationship is the winner. And I even wrote down that's the battle zone. So if men are looking at this is the battle zone. I don't want to go in this battle zone. I do not want to go. And I think I heard it's like when men try to avoid solution. It's not really he's trying to avoid the solution. He's avoiding the battle zone. So if you like this is not the battle, if I'm just a suggestion for a lot of relationships. If women can see that, he avoid this, avoid that. It's not avoiding you. He's avoiding the battle zone. If we take away like this is not a battle zone. This is we coming up with a solution to solve a problem together to help the relationship. That's different. Or I got to go in the battle, and even like yeah, I guess yeah. And this the tense conversation. That's the argument zone. And I see a lot of men. Okay, we're going to argue about this particular thing. I got to go and practice. Okay, figure out. Okay, what's the situation like? Okay, it's like you got to prepare like for a court case. So we're going to prepare, and she's going to have all her accusations and stuff that she's going to bring up against me. So now I got to what? 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 Well, I was explaining what's going through their head, what they're doing to get prepared for the conversation. But like I said, it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be got to prepare. No, you got to be not. We got to explain. It's not a battle, and that's what I think. That's where a lot of relationships, or especially men, don't understand that it's not a battle. And women, the same thing. They already know I'm gonna get him. I know I'm out talking. I know I got him out talking. And then not only that, um, we're going to um, the other thing, changing the subject. That's the other, uh, th- and that's a lot of me. Okay, yes, I done did all this preparing for this court case. We're gonna talk about why I didn't cut the grass, and I'm gonna tell because the lawnmower broke down. I got my defense. I got all this stuff ready to go. And then when I finally get my case should have been won, but you didn't wash the car. Or you didn't take care of the baby. Now all this other stuff coming in, like here we go. So now let's avoid this because all this stuff can come up. Here's a solution. Discuss one thing. Let's handle that one thing and be done with it. And women, if you tell your man, we're just gonna discuss this one thing only, and we can leave it alone, walk away, and come back later for something else. I believe you get a man more involved to deal with a situation instead of him thinking I got to talk about you know 10 things that you're not prepared for. Cause that stuff now I'm gonna get knocked upside my head on something that I didn't know nothing about. One at a time. So, what I think, first of all, people have a heart. If you stuck and can't get past the tense conversation, it's very hard to get over to the transparent conversation. So, I believe some relationships they touch on it a little bit, but then that tense conversation come back up and destroys the transparent conversation. So, we building this foundation. We already got the transactional down pat most of the time. We got to solve that tense conversation. When we get that solid and how to solve the problems, now we can make it over to that transparent conversation. Yeah, and how can you open up when you think that's the person going to do something to you? That's and that's kind of like my um, I won't say shut. I'm using my as a kid. Let's go all the way back to a kid. Um, I've learned early if you being open, being transparent with with a friend, you talk to them and you tell them something that look, let's keep this between you and me. And then when that person went around some other people, or that person said they're not your friend no more, and they bring or they cracking jokes or something, and they crack a joke about something that you told them just to tell them, and they just brought it back up to you. So now you ain't saying nothing to that person no more. So that happens in the same in relationships. Like, okay, I opened up, I said something. As soon as that person got mad at me, they brought it up and used it against me. You ain't getting nothing else. You getting it transactional. And now your relationship on that transactional, and you only spit out just a tiny bit, so you're really not going to get no real transparent conversation. And it is something that comes with the transparent is vulnerability. Um, I I don't hear I don't hear men as much as women in that area as far as the vulnerability. What I mean is when I hear women a lot saying, "I ain't gonna let no man do that to me again," or I'm not gonna be. I don't know how did they say it. I'm gonna be open. I'm not gonna be. It's basically it's not vulnerable. I'm gonna hold back, and I think that men do hold on to some things in the past, but I think a lot of men just again it's just my opinion from what I've seen. I think men can let go of a previous relationship, and then it's easier if they get past that tense conversation. I again, it's just me. I think men could be more vulnerable with the woman that he chose to be spend the rest of his life with. And I see a lot of women like, no, that guy did this to me. I, I still feel like, yes, I know I've seen men do it, but overall, like from my 50 some years, seen like a lot of men when they done with the past, it's gone and they don't forgot and moved on. They don't forgot what they did. Well, it takes some time sometimes, but it's kind of like they don't forgot what they did. They forgot the hurt, unless it's really, really bad. But lots of, it's gone. It's done. And we're focusing on this and we moving forward with this. And that other thing in the back past ain't coming back up. But I see a lot of the women, they got bits and pieces from all the other and throwing it on the new dude. And so now the new dude, like, I didn't do that, and I didn't do that, I didn't do that, I didn't do that. They did all that. But I think a lot of men like, okay, she did that to me, and she's gone. Boop. I ain't worried about that no more. So I'm not gonna look to the new relationship. Is that person doing that? But again, I think that's kind of like what I've seen. But um, so what's your take on like people holding on to what somebody else did? So they saying I'm not gonna open up because of what the people in the past did. Yeah, but I say at the start of a relationship, at the beginning, I don't think there's a problem with that. If you see some red flags, and then address it, and the person still decides to be the same way, that's when it's time to leave. No, no, I mean, no, don't be at the beginning. That's what I'm talking about. At the beginning, don't be, now you got your guards up. That's what you're supposed to. You're supposed to have your guards up at the beginning. That's when. But I mean, not when you didn't decided to get into a relationship, but you at the same time, I'm getting in a relationship, but I know I'm not gonna be vulnerable. I know I'm gonna keep my guards up. I know I'm not gonna open up because of stuff in the past. That's not gonna be a successful relationship. Yeah, but yeah. So I'm still with this. You start off, man. That's I just made a video the other day. People don't know how to date. They don't know the meaning of dating. They don't understand the definition of dating. Um, well, you saw the video about how certain things are being requested. They requesting they requesting what you're supposed to get inside the marriage. They requesting it that before you even say your boyfriend and girlfriend. It's like we just met. This our first date, and you requesting stuff that I should only give this to my wife. This is stuff that kind of spend this, you know, buy all this and buy that and take me on these trips. And wait a minute, that should be reserved for the wife that's in the relationship, not I'm testing you out. I'm seeing if I want to date you or not. So I want you to take me to the most expensive restaurant. I've been saying some of these videos. I don't know if it's real or not, but somehow meet me at the hair salon. Okay, hey, I'm here. Pay the lady for my hair or pay the people for my nails and toes. Like, what you mean? You want to go out with me? Yeah. Well, pay for all this. All this stuff costs, and you can pay for it. Uh, I'm like telling them guys, you need to run and don't look back. No, if y'all decide to do that inside the relationship, that's one thing. But I'm just meeting you, so I'm seeing how much money I'm gonna get out of you. That's not part of dating. I wrote. That's you applying for your pimp. I mean, not your pimp, your sugar daddy. You got a sugar daddy application going on. You see how much this sugar daddy gonna get you. So that's a different. That's another ball game right there. But looking for somebody to you looking to build something. I've seen women, and I agree with them. That if we're talking about dating, your first date should spend. It should be free. I know a lot of women like they can be like mad about that. The first date, $0, 0 cents spent, and see what the reactions are. And then if it's good, if you can tell it's not all about go to the next one. But some of them they trying to get the most expensive meal, and I'm seeing more and more where they want multiple meals. They want the meal and to go. Yeah, my friend and I saw one time I some my male cousin at the house. You got to get a meal for him too. Like, man, you that ain't and I guess she was looking at that. She was looking for somebody that was gonna take care of her and her cousin. Well, boy, okay, let's move on. Transformational, sharing a vision. So that's still, I call that's still like an offshoot of vulnerability. If you don't have vulnerability, a lot of times you're not even going to share your dreams and share your vision. And that still should be inside of a solid relationship. Um, you don't tell everything to everybody, but you should have that relationship and inside the marriage or being able to have these conversations. And it looks like, and I was like, I never thought about this over until now today. this many years old. So it should be you got transactional. Then you should learn how to have these tense conversations. Then you need to next learn how to have these transparent conversations, and then it will be natural to move on. I mean, not like going through steps. It will be automatic where this transformational conversations will come out. You will automatically start building that person up. So because that person's been vulnerable and they're starting to share things with you, and you will understand that you should be building that person up. You should be encouraging them. You should be fulfilling fulfillment. And that a lot of time that's let's looking at men a lot of times when they saying, the what I get out of a relationship. I tell you like that on that sugar dad application. That sugar dad application, they give all these things. What the woman, I want this, 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 I want it. And then the men, one line or two lines. And here's one. One of the things that he just some encouragement. So like, yeah, you the man. You supposed to pay the bills, and you supposed to get out there and work, and you supposed to do all that. You supposed to sacrifice. You supposed to stop being single. So yeah, I'm gonna give all of this. What do I get back? You supposed to do it, but that's it. That's what you supposed to do. Okay, all right then. We, down to the next one. Our next one, what? At least give me that. A lot of time, that's all men asking for you. I I give you that all this stuff on the list. And if you can give me respect, and number five, and go ahead, number five. Okay, so that's that. Um, sorry, where did y'all go? Um, so yeah, so that's a conversation, but still inside of that conversation is the intimacy. So a lot of I know I might be going off the rail real for a few minutes, for a few. Um, like I said, it's some. I've seen some. There's a lot of men that feel like they. I mean, this is outside of conversation. I'm not talking about conversation, but I'm just saying they feel like they are being that provider. They are doing, things for that wife, doing things for their children, doing things for, multiple sides of the family, just doing it, being that man. And a lot of times they's like, so what do I get for doing this? What do I get? So then ask that question of women on the street. Hey, okay, if you want all that from your man, what are you giving back? And they would say, my good looks. Like good looks, you know, or other maybe my body, okay, but that's still the body is only a fraction of the entire, a whole relationship. But that's what men are they going to work every day and like, what, all I'm what am I doing all this for? So that's what some men, but women are looking for this tender affection and affirmation and verbal love too. But it's still a lot of it is lacking because the first, they stuck on that transitional. So tender tender affection and affirmation and all that love stuff doesn't come out of the transitional conversation. So people are stuck in the transactional. They're stuck in transactional day by day, and a lot of times the wife are expecting more affection, more verbal love, and but the man's like, okay, I'm going to work every day. I'm humping. I'm doing this. Not want to say humping. I mean, I'm busting my butt. I'm working hard. And then I come home and it's like, okay, now she's asking for more. But then he's like, his tank is on empty. It's like, so it's still, it's a, it's a big old word, mutual. Both of them got to meet halfway. So compromise. I think a lot of relationship that compromise is missing. And even that, um, in the class, it was mentioned about how, let's say, like women needs 100 words a day, and she's mad at the husband for not giving her the 100 words a day. and then the man don't even talk that much. So he's mad because she's requesting the 100 words. So she just in the class, just an example. If she wants 100, he don't have 100. Can at least give. Can he put some effort in to try to get to 50? Can she be satisfied with who she have and accepting the 50? And but I'm saying, but we were talking about people putting in that effort. But some of them they mad because they don't get the 100. But you're trying to get 100 out of somebody that was struggle to make 50. And that's another direction we can go in. Some women expecting. I know I did a video. Stop expecting your man to be your girlfriend. He's not your girlfriend, but they're expecting some of the girly things from their man, and then get mad. Uh-oh. Should I go? Keep talking for a second. Jump on that. I'm gonna go. I know they was like, what? No. Ugh. They make it. Feel like a girl. Uh, uh, you can keep talking. Okay, but that's why we having a conversation. It's a two-way street, and then and a lot of times men, like what I say before, is like I'm getting up when when I was single. I only had to spend this amount of money for food, this amount of money for my rent, this amount of money for my one car. I'm good, and I had all this, a nice bank account. Now, when I'm married, I done gave up the fun. I gave up hanging out with the guys. I done, but I'm saying so. Now I get up, most of my check is gone. So all that money I had set aside is gone. The money to go and do the stuff I was doing before is gone. My time is gone. And so now you're tired, your money gone, your energy gone, all of it gone. And but no, ain't about knowing, but then it's like, you ain't doing enough. Why you didn't buy me flowers? I'm like, I done gave you everything. I know, but I'm going back to, if a person is doing all these different things, it ain't about picking. It's about, I done gave you everything, and especially I'm like, this is not what, like where the guys done got cut off. They done cut everything off. So I'm still providing, doing all this stuff. He cut off. Why you not doing? Why you not bringing me flowers? And why you doing not this emotional stuff? All relationships are different, but still, I see I'm seeing a lot of that. Like the man's like, I'm doing all these things, and it's still not enough. And then, okay, now I still want you. You need to buy me this. You want to buy me that. You want to buy me that. And then, what is his again? What was back to his reward? What is he? What is his payment for working all week, all month? A lot of times it's nothing. Is you go to sleep, and you get that transactional. So then, like, okay, all right, what I got to do? So I try to go talk to somebody. You need to do this and do this and do that. Start doing all that. Still nothing. What if I do this? Nothing. So then they end up getting stuck in that transitional zone, and yeah, the marriage start. What's the word? The marriage is in limbo. But yeah, I just a stagnant. Yeah, the marriage and relationships can get stagnant, and that could be years. People spend years in stagnant marriages. And I think just this. I think just if some marriages that I believe some marriages that's stagnant, could look at these 5 things and go through them as a couple, and start with, start with number one. What are we doing that's transactional? And then let's number two. What are we avoiding? Like, okay, talk to the husband. I don't want to talk because you always fussing. You always yelling. You always screaming. So I try to stay away from. I don't want to argue. I don't want to screaming. So I'm getting away. Oh, you don't want to deal with nothing. If you can explain, it's not that I don't want to deal with it. It's the battle, and we get rid of. It's no longer a battle. It's not a battle zone. It's we got problems one at a time. We're gonna solve them one at a time, and I believe that's gonna soften both of them's heart. And then so that would lead to number three, being more transparent and conversational. And that's when people will be like, sometimes you're out somewhere, and then somebody having a conversation with you can have your spouse. In general, you can give me the side eye, but in general, it, the general, like you be having anyway, like the wife over here talking, and then hear the dudes over there talking, and then she or anyway, let's say that, anyway, different conversation, and then the husband overhears the wife say something. I'm like, oh, I ain't never know that she liked that or wanted to do this and that type of thing, because they never made it to that transparent conversation. It's like sometimes they can be one or the other. I'm talking about it's male and female. They can be that can be that, or well, I'm going to say sometimes people are more transparent with other people and not their spouses. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So you get on the phone, with your mama, your best friend, and all these other people. You're transparent with them, but then as soon as you got the phone, you're no longer transparent with your spouse. So that's one of the main person in the whole world you should be transparent with is your spouse. That's again, we're supposed to become one. So nobody should know your spouse more, than the spouse. That's where that oneness come in. So it shouldn't be no surprise. Um, and still that transform. You should always try to be on the striving to become better. Uh, and another part about transforming, and I think a lot of people don't really pay a lot of attention to, is the person you marry the next year is not the same person. The person you marry in 5 years is not the same person. Since that person is constantly changing, should be changing for the better. Yeah, both should be changed, but it's still not the same person. But some people are stuck on this who I married, and I still it's a little bit. I mean, I'm say a little bit. Um, I made this. A lot of times I keep referring to some videos I made. I know I made one where men don't like change, so men like for their women to stay the same, and then women like change. So a lot of times, I'm talking like this when you first get married. You first met somebody, the man, in a lot of cases, I'm not saying all the ways, a lot of cases, the man want her to stay the way she is. This is the person I decided to marry. I want her to stay the same. And then a lot of times the women like, all right, I can't wait till I change him. I can't wait till he change. So she's struggling to change him, and he's struggling to make her. No, why does she change? But we're all gonna change, but you can't force somebody to change. So our goal, we should be at the point where we all should try to be personally trying to change for the best. And as we personally change for the best individually, that will make the marriage become a better marriage together. And it shouldn't be any kind of individual, uh, what you call it. Basically, after you get married, that marriage should be that unity, that oneness. You should be striving for that oneness. It shouldn't be, like people talking about, like what's today now? The cell phones. Um, some guys, I don't know, it might be some married guys and women that they scared to leave their cell phones around. Um, Well, they talking about this privacy thing, about whatever. But you still, if you won, either one of them should be able to grab the phone and make a phone call or answer the phone or anything like that. That's that oneness. So yeah, they talking about the privacy and stuff, but it's still to be able to get to that level of oneness. That should be the striving. Should be striving to become one. That's what God look. God don't look at. Yeah, you do have an individual relationship with God, but at the same time, um, relationships and um, marriages that was put under the covenant with God. God's looking at it as a one unit. He's not looking at the husband and the wife. It's the husband. You know, is one. That's a marriage. So those two are responsible for for the different things that he's asking to do, not individual stuff. Okay, where we at? We are at. So anything else you want to say? I know I've been doing a whole lot of talk. So what's other stuff that we supposed to come? Okay, so out of the stuff that we have went over, what's one of the main biggest impact? What is the biggest point that made the biggest impact on you? Well, no, wait, you said you can be what you just said you could be, but you're not. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But no, but this ain't even just building off this. So one of my what I would like to take away, not only with us, I've been it's some of the like when I have different conversations. That's what the line. Okay, I can change mine when huh? Actually, I can work on. I can adjust my filter. 'Cause what if I know? I don't know if we talking about the same thing. Um. Okay. I do. Uh huh. Who? Okay. We'll see. But because I don't know if you did it recently, but I know sometimes you will be like some of I ain't trying to. What I'm saying, some of your responses, what you said, be rough and painful, and then sometimes I'm like, that's not her. Let me wait, and then another another answer comes out. So after you done spent some time and thinking about it, then you come up with another answer. I, okay, so okay, that's what I'm saying. So we can see if that. I mean, we'll see the process of that. But I have learned to, like I said, not. So that's been some filter I've been working on. So when you say something, just bite your tongue. Don't say nothing. Just hold it, hold it, hold it. No, I'm saying that's what I mean by it. Just don't react. I have to not react to some of your first responses. That's what I'm saying. Just like just wait, don't say nothing, and then a lot of times your response is different from your first response. So I think I in the past I used to like this one mean person from that first response, and then here come another answer. I'm like, dog, that's a total different answer. That first response is the one that cut you. Okay, that's what I said. So you can say some mean stuff come out, and then I guess after you thought about it, then another response come out. That's why I say that, dude. The slicing, you done got sliced up with the response. Okay, and then my other one. So I would, um, it's like man, we got to deal with all these things, so I'd rather not deal with it. But if I can, and I was like, I can't stand confrontation, and then you got to deal with stuff. But then when they start dealing with stuff, instead of one or two things, it's multiple things that keep on piling up and really don't get nowhere and start going in circles. So I'm like, that's a waste. So now, if you can just pick one thing and come up with a solution, and not it's not a battle. And I think say that's one of our tips is right. These are not we're not battling over anything. We're coming up with a solution. Yep. Yep. Okay, so we can work on that. It was anyway, and that's the, uh, that's only just talk about that real. If you ask, no, not about the joke. We didn't do that test today, but I think if you can, I don't know if it's typical marriages. Um, no. I'm talking about something totally different. But kind of like what you said about the list. This unscientific haven't been tested, but I think you can ask a pool of men, married men, average like super happily married and regular just barely making it, no matter where they are in the marriage. I think on average, if you ask them, make a list of all the problems that you got with your wife, it'll be a short list. No matter how upset he is with the wife or whatever, women gonna have a real big long list. And yeah, and it's so it's what I why I believe that is I think a lot of men could just get past stuff and go about their business. Ain't no big deal. But a lot of women like I know, but I mean that's I believe that causes issues in the marriage when every single thing adds to the list and it takes away that he got a mark against him because he got a mark against it. So now, he as a man looking at his wife, he's not counting all those marks. So he's overall she get a higher score. She can be doing a whole lot of things, a whole lot of problems, but he's not holding them against her. So he's still high. But then I'm not. This is general. I'm not talking about the person, but in general, a woman like she got so many things she added to the list. So now, if she got so many things on the list, now that's her perception of him by all these bad things that she's saying. So now I got a bad. You got a good man, but you don't put all these 100 things on the list. So now you got a negative view of your husband. But then your husband, I'm talking still in general. I'm not saying nobody in particular. So now a husband got the same 100. He can find 100 things with his wife, but he done dismissed about 90% of them. Now he only got 10 little things on his list. So he's still I'm happily married. I'm still fine. But then he talked to her. Oh no, look at all these problems. I got 100 things wrong with him. And then go to him. Oh, I ain't got but 10. But did she do this? Yeah, I don't count that. Did she? Yeah, I don't count that. I don't. That don't go on the list. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. So how can wives give more grace? Well, being more emotional can destroy relationships, and I think that's where a lot of marriages ended because of emotions. Yeah, that's what. Look at if they didn't know, like uh, these very important things right here. If they didn't know about this, if they had that transactional, so transactional is still like a short period of time. That passing or spending a couple hours um, in the morning or a couple hours in the evening and maybe the weekend. So you only got so much time to spend with each other. But then they got locked in. That was every day, 7 days a week. Now this is a person that I really don't know. I don't even know if it's liking, but yeah, you don't even know because they was basing their relationship probably was based off that number one, off of transactional. So the transactional was fine. Hey, everything is done. I'm going to work. I'm paying the bills. Everything taking care of the kids. We're eating. Everything is good. But now stuff changed. I'm out of work. That type thing. So now they don't know how to. What, I got. I want to say that. I know I've said it on a couple of videos a couple of times. You should not get married for love. Let me look at me. Uh-oh. What I mean by love is like that. You should get married off of purpose and then build it with love. Um, but still, so, yeah, I did. So the way I look, I was just chewing it. I'm not saying don't look, but I mean a lot of people like. I like Hollywood is like that. How people get married and then they broke up in a couple of months and weeks because they got married off of lust. But what I mean, so the way I look at it, I guess sometimes I'm a philosopher. I mean, I be sitting around thinking. I was like, so how can I explain this when I say, and I don't hear pastors and stuff say it. How can if I explain you supposed you don't get married off of love? A marriage, imagine a marriage is made of three parts. You got the cake, that's the purpose. The frosting is the love, and the cherry on top is the sexual. So now it's levels. So what a lot of marriages that don't last, it's upside down. You got upside down cake. they get together off the cherry, off the sex, and then some start working on the love, and then the purpose. So yes, they some there are some that work out that way, but majority, it's not gonna stand. It's gonna fall over. You try to like imagine trying to hold a cake like that, trying to balance it off the cherry, and the cherry the smallest thing. How having a good physical relationship together is important, but what percentage of the relationship? So you can't base it off of that, and that's what people have been trying to do. And that's what so many baby mamas, baby daddies, they start off with the physical, have that baby, and then we don't like each other, so they didn't even get to the frosting. So that's what when I say when you a solid relationship, it should be based off purpose. What is your purpose in life? And you find a purpose partner. So that's the cake. And then so that's what a dating's supposed to be. But these days they try to go to the cherry and then force stuff and blah blah blah. All there's so many dysfunctional marriage and relationships. So now you got your purpose in life, their purpose. Now we got a solid cake. Okay, now let's move forward and bring in the feelings and put the feelings on top. But if you don't have that purpose foundation, it's not going to work. But you can still you can I know people can inside a relationship. I've seen where they um turn it around. If they start off with the cherry on top and they figured out relationship, they figured out how marriage probably went accounts. They took the time and turned it upside down and flipped it around, and it worked. But a lot of people they still trying to force it to work with the cherry as the main thing, and it just keep on falling, flapping over problems and issues, and then they get in another relationship, flapping over and over and over and over again. End up on these, these internet shows. I got 8 babies, and I'm looking for me a high valued man. You kept on putting the cherry on at the beginning, and it's falling over, and but you still got the same mentality. My stepdaddy better come take care of me, and better come take care of these kids, and better like what? So you already that's your foundation, and you wonder why the men keep running away because they hear what you're saying. So if we learn, flip it around, and then where we got marriage from the Bible. What's my time? I got to wrap it up in 1 minute. Um, and what we in the Bible, did you know most of the marriages, just about all the marriages in the Bible were um, oh my God, that word done slipped my mind. It wasn't two people falling in love. They were that's what it. They were most of them arranged marriages, and there was some good solid marriages for life. So like a lot of those arranged marriages was built off of what I said, purpose, or the purpose a lot of times is bringing families together or bringing unity. Or it was some kind of purpose that found that they was building. So I know, yeah, we don't do that here in America. We don't do these we don't we don't do that here. But a lot of times, if we build it off of you look cute, I'm cute, let's have sex, and then let's have a baby, then let's get married, and then a year later we can't stand each other. We need to at least find out how marriage works. How does marriage work? Any final words? Ain't no note. You gotta say some final words. Okay, again, so what we have learned, communication is the foundation of a good relationship. Amen. Amen. So everybody, please go and have a great day. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. I don't know who I know. God loves you more. But everybody have a blessed and prosperous day. Amen. Amen. Just add comments, and I'm telling you, add comments, y'all. Let us know what y'all think. God bless.